Hi, this is Czech Ladkowski, and welcome to the second installment in Guardrails. This week we're going to be looking at the guardrail that you're thinking, boy, I wish my children could see this, or I want to save this for my grandkids, or I want to show this to my neighbors. But this is really for you. It's for me too. We all need to hear this. Now, just as a quick reminder, guardrails are a system designed to keep people or vehicles from straying into dangerous and off-limit areas. That's what we're to look for. The guardrails start not where there's danger, but they start before there is danger. They prevent us from getting hurt when we crack up in life. And the question of, do I really need guardrails? Where are they? Where do I really need them? And one of the ways that is most effective and impactful in your life and my life is in the area of the fact that life happens. We skid off the road, things move along, and then we just say, oh, I'm just getting my life together. I'm just getting life turned around. And then all of a sudden, I drift off. I go off the road. There is no guardrail there to protect me. There's nothing. There's no one. I've now just gone totally downhill, and I have nothing to save me. And you think about your regrets and my regrets, failures and pain. Probably it could have been financial, it could have been relational, it could have been choices, it could have been pornography, an affair. There are so many things that influence us where God wants guardrails to protect us. And the guardrail we want to look at today is, what do I do with friends? How do parents show their fanatical faith when it comes to friendships with their kids? Or maybe it's your grandkids and you're wondering, I don't trust that Johnny or Jane who hangs around with my precious and pure grandson or granddaughter. They're great, but I don't know about those other kids, their friends. Because we always think about friends and their influence on the young. We monitor what kids do, what their Facebook and texting is. We have child tracking. We put tracking things inside of them now that are even under the skin in some parts of the world. We think that this is all about kids because we want to put up guardrails to protect them. And I clearly understand that. My heart really reaches out to people who have had things happen to their kids based on friendships. And it is a tragedy in the worst possible way. But may I say to you that friends have the possibility to influence or impact lives or the trajectory of lives. Friends influence our direction. Friends influence. They put pressure on what we think is good, what is not good, what is right, what is wrong. And it goes beyond children. It's just like tricks. It's not just for kids. Adults, we have very powerful influences. The friends that come around, friends that are living around us, friends we grew up with, and maybe we're still in contact from our childhood or through school. And they are very powerful influences. The Mayo Clinic says research has shown that having friends around may help you deal with pain, stress, and illness in a positive manner. While family connections are also vital, the connections we have with friends are different than the relationships we have with family. Maybe it's because, now listen to this, we're able to share more of our fears and our deepest feelings with friends, while we tend to guard these feelings with our family members. Having a close confidant that you can trust can be so important. And the Mayo Clinic discovered what King Solomon knew and wrote about long ago when he wrote in Proverbs 19, walk with the wise and become wise. For a companion or friend of fools suffer harm. These friends are moving down the road the same direction, and the one is always going to produce an influence, a distraction perhaps from the other. I remember walking down New York streets and seeing all the lights in Times Square It was a great distraction. It was hard staying on the safe street. And it's just like what friends can do. Friends can be providing those distractions because friendship is catching. Wisdom is catching. It's contagious. It rubs off. So who are we hanging around with that we're catching from? And second, it's contagious. Life is connected and we need to act accordingly. We are not an island, any way, shape, or form. And thirdly, closeness is proximity. We eventually will go more than likely where our friends are headed. Their proximity, their being near me, will take me down or lift me up. I remember the movie Master Commander, The Other Side of the World, and there was one of the sailors got terrible injury, and he had on his hands, hold fast. Who are we holding fast on to? What kinds of friends am I holding on to? What kinds of friends do I need to let go? Because my conscience is not just something that's there, it's something, it means inside thinking. When we are with friends, we are sensing in our conscience what they are doing and what they are saying. I remember our daughter, when very young, used to like to hang around a really nice boy, but he was a little edgy, and she vicariously, by watching him get in trouble, she would get excited and giggle. But she wouldn't do those things because her conscience knew it was wrong. John says, and when they heard what Jesus had said, this has to do with the woman who was caught in the act of adultery, their own conscience was revealed one by one. Then they began to grieve, the eldest through the youngest. When were they convicted? They were driving fast. They were headed towards destruction. They were headed towards stoning and killing this woman. And Jesus raises their conscience. What turns on your conscience? What lights up your conscience? We're grasping, we're going in a direction. What lights it up? We catch ourselves pretending to be someone. We feel the pressure to compromise. We hear someone tell a story, and what do we want to do? Well, we got to top it. And then they top it. And then you top it. And then I top it. Zechariah talked to this when he said, but they refused to pay attention. Stubbornly, they turned their hearts and covered their ears. God gives you and I a choice when we hear these things. Are we going to pay attention, or are we going to go la 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 la? Are we going to pay attention to what is right? Am I going to focus and listen and take in what they are saying or not? Because there are some people, there are some relationships that you and I need to discard. We need to just think about a trap door, open it up, pull the cord, and let them just flush out of our lives. You got to think about the people who and friends that you have, and are they really friends? And where are they dragging you? Where are they influencing you? Where are they taking you? Paul says in 2 Corinthians, he says, for he, that's God, gives us comfort in our trials, so that we in turn may be able to give the same sort of strong sympathy to others. We are not to discourage, we're to find a way to encourage. We are to be around people that say, I understand, I've been there. I want to bring you up. Are you surrounding yourself with people who want to bring you up, with people who want to raise you up? Or are we pulling each other down? I think about that great scene in The Christmas Story where they're at the flagpole and he says, I double dog dare you, and then I triple dog dare you. And he just melts away. And he eventually puts his tongue on the flagpole and it gets stuck. He allowed the friendship to do that to him. A year from now, you might wish that you could come back to this point in time and say, man, I wish I had made a choice. I wish I had acted upon it. I wish I had done something, because now we see a year later, we can look back with 20/20 vision. Have a dear friend who lives in another part of the country, and he was engaged in a in a church, and God was really blessing him, and things were going along with him and his family, but there was something gnawing at him. There was just a hole there. And there was a woman in that church who started to say, well, you're special. You're neat. You're really cool. I really like you. And it fed something inside of him. And it grew and it grew and it grew until finally, looking back, I remember sitting, and as he recounted this, he said, you would never believe it, how the enemy brought her up at just the right time, at just the right place. There is restoration. There is forgiveness. But he hit a guardrail and it was almost catastrophic. But there was lots of pain. So my question is, what are you going to do about that? China's newest tourist attraction is a glass skywalk at 4,000 feet. It is carved. It is sticking out from this mountain, and it goes along, and you can see straight down. And people who walk out on it, first they're told to take off their shoes, but they can see through it. They think, I'm going to fall. And they say, oh, I don't want to go out on that walk. But some of them that take a step, but they lean up against the rock. They hold on because they can see the penalty of going through and falling. And they say, I don't want that. I'm telling you, I'm begging you, I'm pleading with you that your friends and my friends can have a devastating impact on you and me, on our lives, on our relationships, on our families, on our jobs, on our neighborhoods. What are we going to do to stop it? What am I willing to give up? Jesus was willing to give up everything in order to save you and me. Are we willing to give up those things in order to save ourselves and our families and our relationships? Not save ourselves from an eternity separated from heaven, but to save ourselves from the pain and the agony of the brokenness that is just around the corner, just on the other side of that guardrail. We should all be afraid, because we need to look up to God and say, God, save me. I can't save myself. Will you pray with me? Our Father and our God, I thank you that your love for us is great and mighty, and that you have a guardrail set up for us in Jesus. And so in him, we can come to you. But we also need to have a guardrail protecting us from friendships that could be harmful. Give us wisdom in Jesus' name. Amen. Thanks so much. And next week will be the guardrail that I just know you're dreaming about. God bless and bye-bye.